Hi guys, it is me Bishop Jeff from Camp Gilgal TV. I welcome you all, community of Camp Gilgal TV. Let the Lord bless you. Let the Lord be with you. It is a wonderful day today and a wonderful time, a beautiful weather out there. And the Lord is really blessing us. He is a faithful God. Even when we are not faithful, the Lord remains faithful God. He makes the sun to rise and He makes the rain to come down for believer and non-believer. That's how beautiful our God is. Amazing time. Amazing time we are, and we are witnessing to very things that is amazing. Yesterday I watched on a TV the funeral of the late Queen of England. It was so magnificent, so beautiful, and so majestic. And the way they did their things, and really they did it spot on. And the soldiers and their regalias and everything was so powerful. Kudos to the British people. Like them or hate them, they did things, they did it very, very, very amazingly and very powerful. We thank the Lord for that. And was one of the things I love on that funeral is, even though I'm not going to attest here to say I know the Queen very well, but I like there was a lot of Bible verses recited, all about the Lord, the Lord, the Lord all the time. I praise the Lord for that. And let His will be glorified, and God Himself know the end of everything. Okay, today we're going to talk on God perspective. God perspective. What is a perspective? Perspective, it is the way of thinking. It is the way of thinking. It is also mean a point of view. That means we're going to talk on about God point of view, or God the way He think. Think. God is, somebody used to say many times, even today still saying that God is a thinker. That God is a thinker. God think. And to know if God is really a thinker, you need to know the Bible. And through the Bible, you will find that God, the way He think. From Revelation to from Genesis to Revelation, you will know to find how God think, His characteristic. Let me say to you, God is truth. His truth is from beginning to the end. He is truth. He does not have a truth, but He is truth. That means if you want to find truth, just know God, because He is truth. That perspective, God perspective. Let me say something. There is a verse in the book of Isaiah. The way God think and the way we think is different. There is a gap. It's like east and west, the way we think and the way God think. And the way perspective is, that is not God perspective. If you want to understand the man perspective at all cost, you need to be associated with prosperity preachers. Prosperity preachers, they preach to the people the way they want things to be done, and the way they want things to go. And they put and they force it to say it is God who think like that. No, God thinking is nothing like that. And then men thinking is sometimes is having money, that is to be with God. You go to our churches, a lot of testimonies is all about, I have money, I bought this, I have that, I have this contract, I have that contract. Most of the case, if you want to follow even those contracts they've been bribing left and right, is not generally fall upon their laps. That is the perspective of a human being. A human being perspective is, let me have a wife, let me have a husband, let me have children, and let me make money. As much money as I can make, because man cannot be satisfied. Because if he has one, he wants two, three, four, five, six, 7 until he died. He's still wanting more and more and more. That is man perspective. But God perspective is, God's perspective is simple. He wants us to be born again. He wants us to be redeemed. He wants us to be regenerated. He wants us to be regenerated. And once we are regenerated, our mind is changed. And He wants us to be compassionate. He wants us to love our neighbors, to love our peoples, to love people. God, that is God's perspective. He does not want us to live in a competition. Some of us compete even with our husband, even if with our wives, even with our own children. We compete with them. Some of us even compete with our neighbors. God's perspective is not for you to go to get too much depth because you want to prove your neighbor that you can buy a car that is costing you all that you are making in the end of the month. That is not God's perspective. I don't want to say I don't care, because I don't like to say that word like that. It will make you to be a man who have no empathy. That when you say I don't care. But what is going to profit you if you want to make sure you go Paris because your neighbor did go Paris last year? And when you go and borrow money left and right for you to go Paris, what is going to make you? You are not the first man to go to Paris, because there have been a lot of people in Paris, and there is people who went and come back in Paris more than 10 times. It changed you nothing. Your skin color will never change, and you will never be transformed because you went to Paris. It's not going to be written in front of your face that this is a man who went to Paris. No, you're still the same as you used to look. That our God perspective is for us to be compassionate, for us to love our neighbors, for us to pray for each other, for us to support each other, for us to have a mercy, for us to be charitable. That is God's perspective. And for us to live a life that will make people to enjoy this earth. God perspective. It's not for you to live in competitions. It's not for you to live in a way of wanting to please others. When you start pleasing people, you are not even pleasing them. You're pleasing yourself, and you're destroying yourself. And then it's okay, you have it, but who suffer to pay every end of the month is you. Who suffer when and have a shame when the bank come and repossess that instrument you wanted to prove to other is you. You're gonna suffer. Who gonna have a stress even to go to kill himself because you can't stand the laughter of the people? Is you. Then it's better to live God perspective. And God perspective even put it simple in the book of Timothy. You say, just give me something to wear, just give me something to put in my mouth, just give me a shelter. That is what is important. And that is God's perspective. I am not preaching poverty here, but I'm preaching a simple life that will make you to understand God's perspective. It's not as they make it out there by a prosperity preacher. If you have materials, that it means you got God. False. Renew your mind, be transformed, be redeemed. That is God's perspective. I love you all. That was Bishop J, your host. Please subscribe if you are not yet subscribed, and punch the button like. God bless you. See you next time.